Okay. Okay. So we're reading for Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 10, the branches of the Chaitanya tree, text 22. रीते को रीते चाहे प्रभुर लालन पालन वैराग्य लोक भय प्रभु न माने कथन. So this, by the way, is continuation of text 21, where we're talking about a devotee by the name of Jagadanand. Translation. Jagadanand Pandit, as an incarnation of Satyabhama, always wanted to see to the comfort of Lord Chaitanya. But since the Lord was a sannyasi, he did not accept the luxuries that Jagadanand Pandit offered. So Jagadanand Pandit, like as you know, most of the associates of Lord Chaitanya were in a female body in Krishna Lila. So the Sakhis or Manjaris and or wives. So Satyabhama was one of the wives of Lord Krishna, and she incarnated as Jagadaran Pandit. So she carried the same feelings of love for him. And those of you who know Satyabhama Mataji, her mood was, showing a lot of uh, pride is probably the wrong word, but getting angry very easily, very demanding, showing her, right over Krishna, telling him what to do and those kind of things. She's the one who demanded Parijat flower, so Krishna had gone to
Parijat, she asked to bring the Parijat Vriksh from the.
Yeah, that's right. So she had demanded that, so he took her there to bring it. Anyway, so that's the same mood Jagadanand Pandit had. So he would basically, out of love, do things for him that Lord Chaitanya found unacceptable because he was playing the role of a sannyasi. And the restrictions. So, like for example, he cannot have, scented oil on his head. Sannyasis don't do that. So just for example, or he cannot honor very lavish prasadam. Sannyasis are, a little more strict about that. And he would insist on things like this. So that's what they're talking about here. Okay, text 23. दुई जन खटमटी लगाए कुंडल तार प्रीत तेरे कथा आगे कहिब सकल. They sometimes appear to fight over trifles, but these quarrels were based on their affection, of which I shall speak later. So again, he's showing his affection, but in that affection is asking for things that were considered inappropriate by Lord Chaitanya because of his role as a sannyasi. Text 24. Next devotee. राघव पंडित प्रभुर आद्य अनुचर तार एक शाखा मुख्य मकर ध्वज कर. Raghav Pandit, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's original follower, is understood to have been the seventh branch. From him proceeded another sub-branch headed by Makar Dhwaj Kar. Somebody wants to read the purport? That'll explain this further.
I will read, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay. Kara was in surname of Makara Dvija. At present, his surname is generally found in the Kayast community. The Gaur Ganodesha Deepika 166 state Dhanista Bhaksha Samagrima Krishna Yadat Vrije Imita Saiva Sampratam Gauranga Priyo Raghava Pandita. Raghava Pandita was formerly a confidential gopi in Vrija during the time of Lord Krishna's pastime, and his former name was Dhanishta. This gopi, Dhanishta, always engaged in preparing foods for Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So, this devotee, this gopi that they're talking about, Dhanishta, sorry, was very, very involved with all the activities of Radharani as well as Lord Krishna. It's mentioned here that she was always engaged in preparing foods, but she was serving in many other ways. There are many pastimes of Dhanishta or the Krishna's pastime which involved Dhanishta. I don't have time today to get into details, but it's a pastime where Mother Mother Yashoda sent some gifts for Abhimanyu, the husband, the so-called husband of Radharani. She was involved in that. Then the pastime about Lord Krishna stealing the ring of Radharani, and she was involved in that, and many other um, pastimes. She was involved. So very, very prominent and very confidential and very close servant of both Radha and Lord Krishna. Okay, text 25. Tahar Bhagini Damayanti Prabhur Priya.
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, what is the seventh branch they are talking about, Prabhu?
So they've been counting from the beginning. So this is number 7. So they went Advaita Acharya, Nityanand Prabhu, Jagadanand Pandit, all in the sequence.
Oh,
This is number 7. Yeah.
okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So he said many, many. So we have already discussed 6. This is the 7th one.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Tahar Bhagini Damayanti Prabhur Priya Dasi Prabhur Bhoga Samagri Je Kare Rab Var Basi. Translation. Raghav Pandit's sister Damayanti was a dear maid servant of the Lord. She always collected various ingredients with which to cook for Lord Chaitanya. So there are one brother sister team. They were always offering so many things to Lord Chaitanya. And let's discuss that in the purport. Who wants to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead. I don't see you. I see the ceiling, Mataji.
Sorry.
That's better. Thank you.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhaksha in the Gaur Gauranga Deepika 167. It is mentioned Gaur Mala Vraje Yasit Damayanti tu Tad Savaya Sa. The gopi named Gunmala appeared as Raghav Pandit's sister Damayanti. On the East Bengal railway line, beginning from the Sildaha station in Calcutta, there is a station named Sodapura, which is not very far from Calcutta. Within 1 mile of this station, towards the western side of the Ganges, is a village known as Panihati, in which the residential quarters of Raghuvar Pandit still exist. On Raghav Pandit's tomb is a creeper on the concrete platform. There is also a Madan Mohan deity in the broken down temple nearby. This temple is managed by a local Jamidar on the name Shri Shiva Chandra Rai Chaudhary. Makar Dhwaj Kara was also an inhabitant of Panihati.
So who
Hare
can tell
Krishna.
me why is Panihati so famous?
Because of the chipped rice festival.
Yes, exactly. I think we just celebrated that a week ago, something like that. Anyway, yes, that's correct.
In our temple, it is the coming Sunday.
Oh, it's
In
coming
our
Sunday. Okay.
temple.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is same place where Raghav Pandit lived, and they used to make, the brother and sister used to make lots of preparations for Lord Chaitanya. Okay, I think I'm getting ahead of me. So let's read further verses, and that's described here already. Okay, 26. से सब सामग्री जत झालिते भरिया राघव लो या जान Gupata Kariya. The foods Damayanti cooked for Lord Chaitanya when he was at Puri were carried in bags by her brother Raghav without the knowledge of others. 27. बार मास ताहा प्रभु करेन अंगीकार राघवेर झाली बोली प्रसिद्धि जहार. The Lord accepted these foods throughout the entire year. Those bags are still celebrated as Raghavar Jhali, the bags of Raghav Pandit. 28. से सब सामग्री आगे करीब विस्तार जहार श्रवणे भक्तेर बहे अशुधार. I shall describe the contents of the bags of Raghav Pandit later in this book. Hearing this narration, devotees generally cry and tears glide down from their eyes. Purport. A vivid description of this Raghava Jhali is to be found in chapter 10 of the Antilila portion of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, for those of you who are dying of curiosity, they used to make lots of things and take those things to Jagannath Puri from Panihati every year during Chaturmas when all the devotees from Navadvip and neighboring places went to Jagannath Puri to spend the 4 months with Lord Chaitanya and participate in Rath Yatra as well. Now, what was I going to say? They made a lot of things with great amount of love, but Mother Damayanti used to make something that's very bitter, made of neem leaves. And they wouldn't tell anybody what it is, but that's very good for digestion. So no matter how much and what you've eaten, if you chew on these leaves, then the digestion goes away. So Lord Chaitanya would eat it all 12 months. Most of the prasadam that people brought would be done in 1 month, 2 months, maximum 4 months. But this will last all 12 months. And before it's finished, the next batch will arrive. So Raghav Pandit was so dear to Lord Chaitanya that he said, and it's a quote from Lord Chaitanya, he said, "It is here in 4 places where I dwell. First place, in the kitchen of Shri Sachi Mata's kitchen. Second place, in the dance of Lord Nityanand. So wherever Lord Nityanand is dancing, Lord Chaitanya is present. Third is in the courtyard of Srivas. So we all know that in Srivas Angan, Lord Chaitanya used to dance all night. And then fourth place, in the house of Raghav Pandit. This is how dear Raghav Pandit and Damayanti were to Lord Chaitanya. Okay, next, text 29. प्रभुरे अत्यंत प्रिय पंडित गंगादास जहां स्मरणे होय सर्वबंध नाश. Pandit Gangadas was the 8th dear branch of the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who remembers his activities attains freedom from all bondage. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Gangadas Pandit was the same person whose 2 daughters, Mother Januva and Mother Vasudha, were married to Lord Nityanand. Okay, text 30. Chaitanya Parshad Shri Acharya Purandar Pitakari Jare Bole Shri Gaur Sundar. Shri Acharya Purandar, the 9th branch, was a constant associate of Lord Chaitanya's. The Lord accepted him as his father. Purport. It is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat that whenever Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the house of Raghav Pandit, he also visited Purandar Acharya immediately upon receiving an invitation. Purandar Acharya is to be considered most fortunate because the Lord used to greet him by addressing him as his father and embracing him in great love. So, again, an older person. So Lord Chaitanya gave him the position of his father. Text 31. Damodar Pandit Shakha Premete Prachanda Prabhur Upadejeha Khail Vakya Danda. Damodar Pandit, the 10th branch of the Chaitanya tree, was so elevated in the love of Lord Chaitanya that he once unhesitatingly chastised the Lord with strong words. Text 32. Danda Katha Kahibe Age Bistar Kariya Dande Tushte Prabhutare Pathaila Nadiya. Later in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I shall describe this incident of chastisement in detail. So this is Damodar Pandit chastising Lord Chaitanya. And the Lord Chaitanya, being very much satisfied by this chastisement, sent Damodar Pandit to Navadvip, not as a punishment, but almost like a reward. So, who was Damodar Pandit? Formerly known as Shabya in Vijdham, used to carry messages from Lord Chaitanya to Sachi Mata. And during the Rath Yatra festival, he carried messages from Sachi Mata to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, basically, Shabya is a very prominent gopi who used to be in the camp of Radharani as opposed to the camp of Chandravali. And she was famous for her anger.
Oh,
Haribol? Oh, okay. Anyway, so Lord Chaitanya used to use Damodar Pandit to take his messages to Shachimata and spend like 8 months there in Navadvip. And then during that yatra, the 4 months, they'll all love come from Navadvip and he'll bring messages from Shachimata to Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Text 33. Tahar Anuj Shakha Shankar Pandit Prabhu Padopadhan Jar Nam Vidit. The 11th branch, the younger brother of Damodar Pandit, was known as Shankar Pandit. He was celebrated as the shoes of the Lord. Wow. Text 34. Sadashiva Pandit Jar Prabhupade Ash Prathimei Nityanandir Jar Ghare Vas. Sadashiva Pandit, the 12th branch, was always eager to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. It was his good fortune that when Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, he resided at his house. So, whose house was when Lord Nityananda arrived that he stayed in? The very first house where Lord Chaitanya went and found him. Anybody? So, Nandan Acharya. It was his house that Lord Chaitanya stayed, and Lord Chaitanya forecasted his presence and went and found him. And then this is the second house that Lord Chaitanya used to stay. Text 35. So Nisingha Upasak Pradyumna Brahmachari Prabhutar Naam Kaila Nisinghananda Kari. The 13th branch was Pradyumna Brahmachari. Since he was a worshipper of Lord Nrsingadev, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed his name to Nisinghananda Brahmachari. Okay, let's read the purport for more details. Any volunteers?
I can read through.
Please go ahead. Prabhu.
Pradyumna Brahmachari is described in the Antya Lila, second chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya who changed his name to Narsimanand. While coming from the house of Raghav Pandit at Paniyati to the house of Shivanand, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the heart of Narsimanand Brahmachari. To acknowledge this, Narsimanand Brahmachari used to accept as eatables the food of three deities, namely Jagannath, Narsimadev, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila chapter, second chapter, verse 48 through 78. Upon receiving information that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was proceeding towards Vrindavan from Kulia, Narsimanand absorbed himself in meditation and by his mental activities began constructing a very nice road from Kulia to Vrindavan. All of a sudden, however, he broke his meditation and told the other devotees that this time Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not go to Vrindavan but would travel only as far as the place known as Kanai Natashala. This is described in Madhya Lila, chapter 1, verse 155 through 162. The Gaur Ganadesh Dipika 74 says, Aveshas cha tathagneyo misre pradyumna samnake. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed the name of Pradyumna Mishra or Pradyumna Brahmachari to Narsimanand Brahmachari. For in his heart, Lord Narsimadev was manifest. It is said that Lord Narsimadev used to talk with him directly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is a very, very famous pastime. You all know that Lord Chaitanya insisted on going to Vrindavan, and people were telling him not to go, but he said, no, I'm going anyway. And so there was this devotee named by Lord Chaitanya as Nrsinganand Brahmachari, although his name was Pradyumna Brahmachari. He was meditating upon the Lord's journey. And in his meditation, he was decorating the road on which Lord Chaitanya will travel and was making sure this petals, flower petals, or the road so Lord Chaitanya's feet would not be hurt. But as he was meditating on this, he could see Lord Chaitanya walking, and suddenly his meditation broke. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya had gotten up to a place called Kanai Natshala. So this is immediately after the place called Ramkeli. Where did Lord Chaitanya meet Ramkeli? Who did Lord Chaitanya meet in Ramkeli? two very famous people.
Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, and actually it was Sanatan Goswami who advised Lord Chaitanya that you're traveling with too many people. There were thousands of people with him. And he said the custom about going to Vrindavan is that you go alone, or maximum one person. You don't go with 1,000 people. So Lord Chaitanya said, you were right, and he returned. But that return had already been forecasted by Nisargadatta Brahmachari, who had seen the whole thing in his meditation. So a lot of times people say, how can all these acharyas write things? They haven't seen it. How do they describe? No, they have seen it. In a vision or meditation or whatever Vyasdev wrote, for example, he saw it in his vision. Similarly, Rupa Goswami wrote so many things. All the pastimes he wrote, he actually had a vision of that. Sanatana Goswami, same thing. So most of the acharyas who write pastimes, they have that vision. So it's not imagination, it's not mental concoction. It's Lord gives that vision to the devotees, so then they write. So they are all true stories. It's not somebody's fiction, a very, fertile mind coming up with stories. No, nothing like that. These are actual incidents, past that happened. They become visible to the devotees who write. Okay, and here's one example. Text 36. नारायण पंडित एक बड़ई उधार चैतन्य चरण बिनु नहीं जाने आर. Narayan Pandit, the 14th branch, a great and liberal devotee, did not know any shelter but Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Narayan Pandit was one of the associates of Srivas Thakur. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antekhand, 8th chapter, verse 36, that he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath in Puri with the Thakur's brother, Sri Ram Pandit. So we talked about the four brothers of Srivas Pandit before, last week. Second brother was Ram Pandit. Okay, text 37. Shriman Pandit Shakha Prabhur Nij Bhritya Devuti Dharena Jabe Prabhu Karen Nitya. The 15th branch was Shriman Pandit, who was a constant servitor of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to carry a torch while the Lord danced. Shriman Pandit was among the companions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord performed Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya dressed himself in the form of goddess Lakshmi and danced in the streets of Navadvip. Shriman Pandit carried a torch to light the way. What a great service. Text 38. Shuklambar Brahmachari Bada Bhagyavan Jar Anna Mangi Kari Khaila Bhagavan. Translation. The 16th branch, Shuklambar Brahmachari, was very fortunate because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jokingly or seriously begged food from him or sometimes snatched it from him forcibly and ate it. Imagine Lord begging you for food but snatching it from you. Who's the other person we know in Krishna Lila from whom Krishna snatched?
Is it the person who was used to sell mangoes? The boy? I don't know remember his
Now I'm talking about
name.
Krishna Lila itself.
Sudama.
Sudama,
Taking-
exactly. So,
Sudama was taking the.
yes. So he was hiding it, Krishna snatched it from him. Okay, let's read the purport. Somebody volunteer, please.
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead, Gopal.
Hare Krishna purport. It is stated that Shuklambara Brahmachari, an inhabitant of Navadipa, was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first companion in the Sankirtana movement. When Lord Chaitanya returned from Gaya after initiation, he stayed with Shuklambara Brahmachari because he wanted to hear from this devotee about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Shuklambara Brahmachari collected alms of rice from the inhabitants of Navadipa, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took pleasure in eating the rice that he cooked. It is said that Shuklambara Brahmachari was one of the wives of the Yagnik Brahmanas during the time of Lord Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavana. Lord Krishna begged food from the wives of Yagnik Brahmanas, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed a similar pastime by begging rice from Shuklambara Brahmachari. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So Shuklambara Brahmachari was the first devotee whose house Lord Chaitanya asked all the devotees to gather, and the first Sankirtan was done in that house. So immediately after Lord Chaitanya got initiated, returned from Gaya, and started manifesting his devotee pastimes. So this house, Chaitanya Brahmachari's house, was the first house where he did that. And then later on, he moved to Shivas Pandit's house. And there's a pastime where Lord Chaitanya was giving his darshan, and everybody was allowed to ask for any benediction. Shukrambar Brahmachari was hiding, and Lord Chaitanya insisted that he come forward. When he came forward, he snatched the rice and from him and ate it. Now, Shukrambar Brahmachari used to go to 12 different houses and get whatever little bit he got from those houses is all that he will cook. And that's all he had. So he was very embarrassed by Lord Chaitanya begging him for food. He said, I don't have anything. What can I give you? All I have is some chipped, rejected rice. But Lord Chaitanya said, but that's the most tasty one. So he would do that. Text 39. Nandana Acharya Shakha Jagate Vidit Lukaya Dui Prabhur Jar Ghare Sthit. Nandanacharya, the 17th branch of the Chaitanya tree, celebrated within the world because the two Prabhus, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, sometimes hid in his house. So it's the purport. Anyone?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Nandanacharya was another companion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his Kirtan pastime in Navdvip. Shri Nityanand Prabhu as Advait traveled on many pilgrimage, and when he first came to Shri Navdvip Dham, he remained hidden in the house of Nandacharya. It is there that he first met all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his Prakasha Prabhu, who was hiding in the home of Nandacharya, for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that he was hiding. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also hid in the home of Nandanacharya. In this connection, one may refer to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam Madhya Kanda chapter 6 and 17. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, as I mentioned before, it was in Nandanacharya's house that Lord Nityananda stayed before Lord Chaitanya found him. So, you know the story about how Lord Chaitanya forecasted one day that today some very great personality will appear. And he asked everybody, especially Advaitacharya and Haridas Thakur, to go look for this person. So they went the whole town of Navadvip looking for any person who has arrived in the last 1 or 2 days and did not find. So they came back in the evening and said, we didn't find anybody. Lord Chaitanya said, okay, let's go and look. And we went straight to Nandanacharya's house. And sure enough, Lord Nityananda was there and they had their first meeting. And that's where other devotees also met Lord Nityananda. Then there's a reference to another pastime where Advaitacharya was hiding in the house of Nandanacharya, but I didn't get a chance to research that, so I don't know exact pastime. But maybe next week I'll have time to find this and we can discuss this. Text 40. Shri Mukunda Datta Shakha Prabhure Mad Samadhyayi Jahar Kirtane Nache Chaitanya Gosai. Mukunda Datta, a class friend of Lord Chaitanya's, was another branch of the Chaitanya tree. Lord Chaitanya danced while he sang. Can you see the purport, please?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Sri Mukunda Datta was born in Chattagrama district in the village of Chanhara, which is under the jurisdiction of the police station named Patia. This village is situated 10 kroshas or about 20 miles from the home of Pundarika Vidyanidhi. In the Gaura Ganadesha Deepika, it is said, व्रजे स्थितौ गायकव्यौ मधुकण्ठ मधुव्रतौ मुकुन्द वासुदेवौ तौ दत्तौ गौरङ्गा गायकौ. In Vraja, there were two very nice singers named Madhukanta and Madhuvrata. They appeared in Chaitanya Lila as Mukunda and Vasudeva Datta, who were singers in the society of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya was a student, Mukunda Datta was his class friend, and they frequently engaged in logical arguments. Sometimes Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would fight with Mukunda Datta using tricks of logic. This is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Adi Kanta, chapters 11 and 12. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya, Mukunda Datta gave him pleasure by reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam about Krishna Lila. It was by his endeavor that Gadadhar Pandit Goswami became a disciple of Pundarika Vidyanidhi, as stated in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata Madhya Kanda, chapter 7. When Mukunda Datta sang in the courtyard of Srivasa Prabhu, Mahaprabhu danced with his singing, and when Lord Chaitanya for 21 hours exhibited an ecstatic manifestation known as Sata Prahariya, Mukunda Datta inaugurated the function by singing. Should I
Yeah.
continue, Prabhu?
Just let me just explain something and you can continue after that.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you. So we all know the very very popular, very famous pastime of Lord Chaitanya teasing Mukund Datta after he had become initiated and become a devotee, and he'll argue with all these people in Navadvip, and especially with Gadadhar Pandit and with Mukund Datta. And he will say things like, "So, please tell me what is moksha?" And they say something like the cessation from material attachment and material world, and he just totally, uh, discard that argument and give them something that's totally against what they said. And when they said, fine, we agree, they said, no, no, how do you agree? This is not right. And they disprove whatever he had proven. And like that, he will be teasing them. And became so bad that one day, Mukund Datta was coming one way, and Lord Chaitanya was going the other way towards him. As soon as Mukunda saw him, he ran away. So a friend of Lord Chaitanya said, why did Mukunda run away? And Lord Chaitanya said, it's because he doesn't want to argue unnecessarily with me. But I'll tell you one thing, the day will come soon when he will not have enough of my association. He's referring to when he becomes a devotee, then Mukunda also will be coming with him. Mukunda was a very amazing singer, as mentioned here. And there was one, what a prahar? Prahar is 3 hours. So 24 is called Ashtaprahar. So we know about Ashtaprahar Lila or Ashtakalin Lila is 24 hours. So Sat means 7. Sat Prahar means 21 hours, 7 times 3. So once there was a function where Mukunda Datta was singing and Lord Chaitanya danced 21 hours straight, exhibiting all these ecstatic symptoms. So very famous pastime. The other pastime that's mentioned here is when Mukund Datta asked Gadadhar Pandit to come meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi. We talked about it last week. And it mentioned how Gadadhar Pandit ended up becoming the disciple of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And we discussed that last week. Okay, Mataji, go ahead. Next paragraph.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised Mukunda Datta by calling him Khada Jatiya Beta because he attended many functions held by different classes of non-devotees. This is stated in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Madhya Kanda, chapter 10. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed himself as the goddess of fortune to dance in the house of Chandrasekhara, Mukunda Datta began the first song.
Yeah. So again, there's a reference here to the pastime where Lord Chaitanya was doing Mahaprakash Leela and everybody's getting darshan, but not Mukund Datta. So somebody went and asked Lord Chaitanya, how come Mukundatta is not allowed? And Lord Chaitanya said, because he goes everywhere. And he goes to Mayavadis, he agrees with them. He comes to devotees, he agrees with them. And that I cannot tolerate. Anybody who's Mayavadi, who takes my name, I feel like he's taken a sword and is cutting my body limb by limb. So he said, therefore, I'm not going to give him my darshan. So they told Mukundatta, and he was crying and crying and crying. And Lord Chaitanya was not showing any leniency. So then Mukundatta asked somebody, said, please go and ask the Lord, when will I see him? If not today, when will I see him? So they went and asked Lord Chaitanya, Mukunda wants to know, when will you see him? And Lord Chaitanya said, after 10 million births. 10 million births. So they went back and told Mukunda, the Lord says 10 million births. And Mukunda started dancing in ecstasy, jumping up and down. He said, my Lord has guaranteed he'll see me. What can be better than that? And I was dancing with all the ecstatic symptoms. So they went back and told Lord Chaitanya, he's dancing in ecstasy. And then Lord Chaitanya smiled, okay, call him. And then they called him and he got the darshan. So that's the other famous pastime being mentioned here. Okay, go ahead. Next paragraph.
Before disclosing his desire to take the renounced order of life, Lord Chaitanya first went to the house of Mukunda Datta. But at that time, Mukunda Datta requested Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to continue his Sankirtana movement for a few days more before taking sannyasa. This is stated in the Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Khanda, chapter 26. The information of Lord Chaitanya's accepting the renounced order was made known to Gadadhar Pandit, Chandrasekhara Acharya, and Mukunda Datta by Nityananda Prabhu, and therefore all of them went to Katwa and arranged for Kirtana and all the paraphernalia for Lord Chaitanya's acceptance of sannyasa. After the Lord took sannyasa, they all followed him, especially Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Mukunda Datta, who followed him all the way to Purushottama Kshetra. In this connection, one may refer to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Antya Khanda, chapter 2. In the place known as Jaleshwara, Nityananda Prabhu broke the sannyasa rod of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mukunda Datta was also present at that time. He went every year from Bengal to see Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, again, when Lord Chaitanya decided to take sannyas, he informed Mukunda, who said, please wait for more days. But the Lord decided that he's going to do that anyway. And Lord Nityananda came and told Gadadhar Pandit, Chandrasekhara Acharya, and Mukunda Datta. So they all went to Katwa, which is the place where Lord Chaitanya took the sannyas initiation with Keshav Bharati. And actually, I've been to that place. It's a wonderful place. There is a samadhi of Lord Chaitanya in that place. And also samadhi of the barber. I think his name was Madhu, who shaved his hair. So that's there also. And then this refers to another pastime where Lord Nityanand broke the sannyas danda of Lord Chaitanya as they were on their way to Jagannath Puri. And Lord Chaitanya was actually very angry. He was so angry, he said, I don't want to walk with you. Either you go first or I go first, but we're not going to go together. And so they said, okay, no, you go first. So Lord Chaitanya went ahead and they followed. So that's another very famous pastime. Text 41. Vasudeva Datta Prabhu Bhritya Mahashaya Sahastra Mukhe Jar Gun Kahile Na Hoye. Vasudeva Datta, the 19th branch of Sri Chaitanya tree, was a great personality and a most confidential devotee of the Lord. One could not describe his qualities even with thousands of mouths. So this next branch, 19th branch. Who would like to read?
I shall read from Vasudeva Datta, the brother of Mukunda Datta, was also a resident of Chatgram. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is said, Yanara Shane Krishna hai apna vikarya. Vasudeva Datta was such a powerful devotee that Krishna was purchased by him. Vasudeva Datta stayed at Srivas Pandita's house, and in the Chaitanya Bhagavata it is described that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with Vasudeva Datta and so affectionate toward him that he used to say, I am only Vasudeva Datta's man. My body is only meant to please Vasudeva Datta, and he can sell me anywhere. Thrice he vowed that this was a fact and that no one should disbelieve this statement. All my dear devotees, he said, I tell you the truth. My body is specially meant for Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta initiated Sri Yaduna Nanda Acharya, the spiritual master of Raghunath Dasa, who later became Raghunath Das Goswami. This will be found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Anta Lila 6th chapter, verse 161. Vasudeva Datta spent money very liberally. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sri Sivananda Sena to become his Sarkela or secretary in order to control his extravagant expenses. Vasudeva Datta was so kind to the living entities that he wanted to take all their sinful reactions so that they might be delivered by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is described in the 15th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, verse 159 through 180. Hare Krishna.
So, very wonderful pastime happened. Vasudeva Datta went to Lord Chaitanya and said, please let me have the sinful reactions of all the people in the world, everybody, and let me rot in hell for millions of years. But you please deliver everybody else. And Lord Chaitanya was so impressed and so happy to hear that attitude for Vasudeva Datta that he started saying that I'm only Vasudeva Datta's man. My body is only meant to please Vasudeva Datta, and he can sell me anywhere. So it is very interesting. He says he can sell me anywhere because the Lord is so eager to be sold by his devotees. We all heard when Advaita Acharya was inviting Lord Krishna to appear, he used to offer Tulsi Manjari and water, Ganga water, to Shaligram Shila. And the mantra he used to chant said that anybody who offers Tulsi Maharani with Ganges water, Shaligram Shila, Krishna sells himself. So another example. So many other places where Krishna says, I am sold to my pure devotees. They can do whatever they want with me. So here's another example. A pure devotee like that, Krishna says, I'm sold. Do whatever you want. I have no independence. I'm your das. I'm your das. Okay, Prabhuji, go ahead. Next paragraph.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, there is a railway station named Purvarsthali near the Navdeepa railway station, and about 1 mile away in a village known as Mama Garshi, which is birthplace of Vrindavan Das Thakura, there is presently a temple of Madan Gopala that was established by Vasudeva Datta. The Gaudiya Mutt devotees have now taken charge of this temple, and the Seva Puja is going on very nicely. Every year, all the pilgrims on Navdeepa Parikrama visit Mamagachi. Since Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur inaugurated the Navdeepa Parikrama function, the temple has been very well managed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically, give me an idea of where this place is. Okay, text 42. जगत जतेक जीव तार पाप लोया नरक भुंजते चाहे जीव छड़ाया. Srila Vasudeva Datta Thakur wanted to suffer for the sinful activities of all the people of the world so that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu might deliver them. We talked about that. Text 43. Haridas Thakur Shakhar Adbhut Charit Tin Laksh Naam Te Ho Loyen Apatit. The 20th branch of Chaitanya tree was Haridas Thakur. His character was wonderful. He used to chant the holy names of Krishna 300,000 times a day without fail. So let's read the purport. We all know these stories, but let's read the purport.
Shall I go, Prabhu?
Please go ahead, Mataji. Yes.
Certainly, the chanting of 300,000 holy names of the Lord is wonderful. No ordinary person can chant so many names, nor should one artificially imitate Haridas Thakura's behavior. It is essential, however, that everyone fulfill a specific vow to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, we have prescribed in our society that all our students must chant at least 16 rounds daily. Such chanting must be offenseless in order to be of high quality. Mechanical chanting is not as powerful as chanting of the holy name without offenses. It is stated in the Chaitanya Bhagavata, Adikhanda, chapter 2, that Haridas Thakura was born in a village known as Budhana, but after some time came to live on the bank of the Ganges at Fulia near Shantipura. From the description of his chastisement by a Muslim magistrate, which is found in the 16th chapter of the Adikhanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, we can understand how humble and meek Haridas Thakura was and how he achieved the causeless mercy of the Lord. In the dramas performed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakura played the part of a police chief. While chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Benapola, he was personally tested by Maya Devi herself. Haridas Thakura's passing away is described in the Antya Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, 11th chapter. It is not definitely certain whether Sri Haridas Thakura appeared in the village named Budhana, that is in the district of Khulna. Formerly, this village was within a district of 24 parganas within the Shatakshira division.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. So, as I mentioned, like I think we all know so much about Haridas Thakur, the pastime of him being beaten by the Qazi or the governor of the town because he was chanting the holy name of the Lord. The pastime of him being thrown in the Ganges because they did not want to bury him. The pastime of him floating all the way to a place near Shantipur where Advaita Acharya was living. And then they both became very good friends. They chant together, discuss Krishna Katha together. And the pastime about Ramchandra Khan sending a prostitute to distract him. And after that, even Maya Devi herself came to distract him, but nobody succeeded because he was so absorbed in his chanting. And because of the offenseless chanting, it was very powerful. And nothing could distract him from his chanting. Okay, so like I say, you all know those stories, so I'm not going to do details. Text 44. Tahara ananta guna kahin din matra acharya gosai jare bhunjaye shraddha patra. There was no end to the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur. Here I mention but a fraction of his qualities. He was so exalted that Advaita Goswami, when performing the Shraddha ceremony of his father, offered him the first plate. So I don't know if you know this story, this pastime. Advaita Acharya was performing the Shraddha ceremony. Everybody knows Shraddha ceremony? Anybody who does not know what Shraddha ceremony is? So this is where you are honoring your ancestors by offering the prasadam to Brahmins that you invite. But the first set of people who eat are Brahmins. So when the Advaita Acharya decided to perform the Shraddha ceremony, all sorts of devotees, all sorts of Brahmins came. And Haridas Thakur said, I'm a Muslim, so therefore I cannot come. So he went and stayed far away from Advaita's house. But when Advaita was ready to offer prasadam, he looked for Haridas Thakur and did not find him in his house, obviously. So he said, everybody, you wait. And they found him And I went to him and said, you have to accept the first plate. Haridas Thakur actually objected. He said, no, I'm a Muslim. I cannot do that. You got all these Brahmins waiting for you. He said, no, you're the topmost Brahmin. You're the topmost Brahmin. What is the difference? Why is he topmost Brahmin?
Maybe because he is chanting so many times, like
Well,
300,000.
actually, he's a pure devotee. So devotees
devotee.
are above Brahmins.
Okay.
Okay, devotees are above Brahmins. So you have
Brahman.
Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmin, but the devotees are
Above
above
that.
Brahmin. Why? Because Brahmin is still in the mode of material nature, right? Sattvic guna, sattva guna, but still mode of material nature. But the devotees are above all three modes of material nature, right? Chapter 14, text 26, I think. What does it say? Mam yo avicharen bhakti yoga sevte. Sagunan samtite etan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. 1426. Right? So samtita gunan. He transcends the three gunas, the three modes of material nature. That's a devotee. So that's above Brahmins. So that's why I said, you're a Vaishnava, you're above all these Brahmins. You take it first and then. So Haridas Thakur was showing his humility, and Advaita was showing his understanding of what a devotee is. Okay? Text 45. Prahlad samanatar gunere tarang yavana taranayogjar nahik bhubhanga. The waves of his good qualities were like those of Prahlad Maharaj. He did not even slightly raise an eyebrow when persecuted by the Muslim ruler. So what was the most famous quality of Prahlad Maharaj? What was he most famous for? Not Smaranam. That's of course there. But what was the most famous quality that even impressed the Lord?
He surrendered. So
Along the same lines, but something different I'm looking for, different word I'm looking for.
Full faith, Prabhuji?
Well, yes, Maharaj. Exactly. 100% faith. My Lord will protect me. Nobody can hurt me. My Lord will protect me. And actually, somebody asked him, were you not afraid when you were thrown in the deep, dark well full of scorpions and snakes that are poisonous? And he said, no. I saw Lord Shiva. He can drink all the poison. Why do I have to worry about it? When I was put in the fire, were you not afraid? No, fire represents the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So why would I be afraid to go in the mouth of Vishnu? Like that kind of faith. And even when Hiranyakashipu was standing in front of him, you can imagine the size difference. I mean, Hiranyakashipu was giant, and this 5-year-old boy. And he sword out, ready to chop his head off, and saying, show me where is the Lord, how is he going to protect you? And my Lord is everywhere. My Lord is everywhere. He said, even this pillar, he said, yes. And Lord Prahlad could see the Lord in the pillar before he came out of the pillar. Said, yes, I see him, he's there. And that is when Hiranyakashipu banged his fist on the pillar and the Lord appeared. That faith was not shaken even for a second. You do whatever you want, I'm just going to chant his name. My Lord will protect me. Okay? Haridas Thakur had the same faith. My Lord will protect me. When he beat me up, that's fine. And at the same time, so merciful, after 22 markets, the 3 people who were whipping him said, my dear sir, if you don't die, we will be killed. So please die. So he said, okay. So he got his, what do you call it? The samadhi. And looked like he was dead. The 3 people took him to the governor. Look, he's dead. And then say, don't bury him because then he'll go to heaven. Throw him in the Ganges. So all those pastimes about Lord Chaitanya. Sorry, Haridas Thakur. And there was mention about the time is passing. Lord Chaitanya was there, person, when Haridas Thakur was leaving his body. And the Lord danced with his body for hours. And then performed the last rites himself. That's Haridas Thakur. Okay? All right, text 46. Teho siddhi paile tar deh loya kole. Oh, okay. Nachile Chaitanya Prabhu Mahakutuhale. So I just said that. After the passing away of Haridas Thakur, the Lord himself took his body on his lap and danced with it in great ecstasy. Text 47. Dan Lila Bonya Chene Vrindavan Das Jeva Avashishta Age Karib Prakash. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has vividly described the pastimes of Haridas Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. Whatever has remained undescribed, I shall try to explain later in this book. So this is a very ongoing theme of this book. Whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur had described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Krishnadas Kaviraj will not describe again. He's much superior. We already discussed this. I don't need to. Whatever he has not discussed, I will discuss. But if he has discussed it, I will not discuss. Throughout this book, he keeps doing the same thing. Okay, text 48. तार उप शाखा जत कुलीन ग्रामी जन सत्यराज आदितार कृपार भाजन. One sub branch of Haridas Thakur consisted of the residents of Kulin Gram. The most important among them was Satyaraj Khan or Satyaraj Vasu, who was a recipient of all the mercy of Haridas Thakur. So this is the purport. Please go ahead, Venkat Prabhu. Prabhuji, we do not hear you. Venkat Prabhu, no, you're not.
Where he chanted the holy name.
Okay, Venkat Prabhu, can you start again because we did not hear at all.
Okay, Prabhu. Can you hear me, Prabhu, now?
Now we can hear you, yes.
Okay. Purport, sorry. So Satyaraj Khan was the son of Guru Raja Khan and father of Ramananda Vasu. Haridas Thakur lived for some time during the Chaturmasya period in the village named Kulina Grama, where he chanted the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and distributed his mercy to the descendants of the Vasu family. Satyaraj Khan was allotted the service of supplying silk ropes for the Jagannath deity during the Rath Yatra festival. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answer to his inquiries about the duty of householder devotees are vividly described in the Madhya Lila chapters 15 and 16. The village of Kulina Grama is situated 2 miles from the railway station named Jaugrama on the new car line from Howrah to Burdwan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very highly praised the people of Kulina Grama, and he stated that even a dog of Kulina Grama was very dear to him. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So, again, very important person, Satyaraj Khan. It's mentioned here that he was supplying the silk ropes. So these are the ropes used to tie the Lord when they are moved out of the temple room altar to the chariot during the Rath. So this whole amazing process of moving the Lord is so heavy that they are tied with the ropes, and 8 or 10 very strong pandas will lift the Lord. They can move only one step, but they put him down. So there are all these pillows on which to land the body of the Lord. It's a very amazing process. Hopefully all of you have seen a video of, it's called Pandu Vijay, of the Lord coming out of the altar onto the chariot. If not, you should look it up and watch this. It's amazing. Anyway, so Satyaraj Khan had the responsibility for supplying the silk ropes for the deities. Okay, 49. Shri Murari Gupta Shaka Premere Bhandar Prabhure Hridaya Deve Shuni Danya Jar. Murari Gupta, the 21st branch of the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was a storehouse of love of Godhead. His great humility and meekness melted the heart of Lord Chaitanya. So let's read the gospel.
Yeah, I can read Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Prabhuji. Ashok Prabhu.
Yes. Sri Murari Gupta wrote a book called Sri Chaitanya Charit. He belonged to a Vaidya, his physician family of Srihat, the paternal home of Lord Chaitanya, and later became a resident of Navdvip. He was among the elders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya exhibited his Varha form in the house of Murari Gupta, as described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khand, 3rd chapter. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his Mahaprakash form, he appeared before Murari Gupta as Lord Ramchandra. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu were sitting together in the house of Srivas Thakur, Murari Gupta first offered his respects to Lord Chaitanya and then to Sri Nityanand Prabhu. Nityanand Prabhu, however, was older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore Lord Chaitanya remarked that Murari Gupta had violated social etiquette, for he should have first shown respect to Nityanand Prabhu and then to him. In this way, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Murari Gupta was informed about the position of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, and the next day he offered obeisances first to Lord Nityanand and then to Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave chewed pan or betel nut to Murari Gupta. One Shivanand Sena offered food to Lord Chaitanya that had been cooked with excessive ghee, and the next day the Lord became sick and went to Murari Gupta for treatment. Lord Chaitanya accepted some water from the water pot of Murari Gupta, and thus he was cured. The natural remedy for indigestion is to drink a little water, and since Murari Gupta was a physician, he gave the Lord some drinking water and cured him.
To finish it.
Okay. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Srivas Thakur in his Chaturbhuj Murti, Murari Gupta became his carrier in the form of Garud. And in these pastimes of ecstasy, the Lord then got up on his back. It was the desire of Murari Gupta to leave his body before the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Lord forbade him to do so. This is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khand chapter 20. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day appeared in ecstasy as the Varha Murti, Murari Gupta offered him prayers. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra, and his staunch devotion is vividly described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 15 chapter verses 137 to 157.
Thank you, Prabhu. So I have read somewhere else that Murari Gupta was also an incarnation of Hanumanji.
Yes.
That's why he was a great devotee of Lord Ram, and Lord Chaitanya showed him that form of Lord Chaitanya, showing different forms of different devotees based on their devotion. There's also one time there was a Mahaprakash Lila again going on, and the Lord showed his Varah form, Lord Varahadev. And at that time, Murari Gupta offered him not just prayers, but also to give him a ride. So basically, the Lord mounted his back, and Murari Gupta was running around with the Lord on his back, playing the role of Garuda. But as we know, as Hanuman also played the same role when he carried Lord Ram, Lord Lakshman, and Mother Sita on his shoulders. So similar pastimes were going on based upon the background, what they were in the previous pastimes of the Lord. So again, Murari Gupta was one of the very close associates of the Lord Chaitanya. And again, this story, actually, this is a little confusing story. Just want to point it out that Murari Gupta offered obeisances to the Lord, to Lord Chaitanya, and to Lord Nityananda after that. And Lord Chaitanya remarked, does he not know that Lord Nityananda is my older brother? So therefore, he should have offered obeisances to him first. So then Murari Gupta was told that, look, that was the comment of the Lord. So next time he saw both of them, Murari Gupta saw both of them, he offered obeisances to Lord Nityananda first, and then to Lord Chaitanya. So please, he gave him a chewed pan that he had in his mouth. He took it out of his mouth and gave it to Murari Gupta. Imagine getting that kind of Mahaprasad. The Lord is chewing it in his mouth and gives it to you to chew. Amazing, amazing fortune. But again, it's a reflection of the purity of the devotion of Lord. Okay, let's do text 50. प्रतिग्रह नहीं करे न लोय कार धन आत्मवृत्ति करी करे कुटुंब भरण. Sri Murari Gupta never accepted charity from friends, nor did he accept money from anyone. He practiced as a physician and maintained his family with his earnings. Okay, let's do the purport.
Let's do the purport, Prabhuji.
Mataji, please go ahead.
Purport. It should be noted that the Grahastha householder must not make his livelihood by begging from anyone. Every householder of the higher caste should engage himself in his own occupational duty as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya. But he should not engage in the service of others, for this is the duty of Sudra. One should simply accept whatever he earned by his own profession. The engagement of a Brahmana or Yagna padana, dana, and pritigraha. A Brahmana should be a worshipper of Vishnu, and he should also instruct others how to worship him. A Kshatriya can become a landholder and earn his livelihood by levying taxes or collecting rent from tenants. Yeah, Vaishya can accept agriculture or general trade as an occupational duty. Since Murari Gupta was born in a physician's family, Vaidya Vamsa, he practiced as a physician, and with whatever income he earned, he maintained his family. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, everyone should try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the execution of his occupational duty. That is the perfection of life. This system is called Deva Varnashram. Murari Gupta was an ideal grahastha, for he was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By practicing as a physician, he maintained his family and at the same time satisfied Lord Chaitanya to the best of his ability. This is the ideal of householder's life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhuri. So, some very important points being made. The first point being made is that the top three Varnas, which is Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, are not supposed to work for somebody else. They should perform their own, whatever business that is. And the business of Brahman is described in great detail. Yajan means performing fire sacrifice for themselves. Yajan, fire sacrifice somebody else. Pathan, studying. Pathan, teaching. Dan, giving in charity. Pratigra, accepting charity. So those are 6 duties of a Brahmin. A Kshatriya can be a landlord and earn his living by living taxes or collecting rents, but not working for somebody else. And Vaishya, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Keshi Gorakshvanijya, right? Do the agriculture, do some business, and protect the cows. Only the Shudras are supposed to work for somebody else. Right? So Murari Gupta was very conscious of that. So he earned his living as a physician, and whatever he earned, he did that. And then, Prabhupada gets the details of Daivi Varnashram. That's the Varnashram that we know. And that there's a verse in in Srimad Bhagavatam that's being referred to here. At the first canto, chapter 2, text 13, that says something like Atah Pumbhir Dvijshreshtha Gunkarma Vibhaksha. Sunistasya Dharmasya Sansiddhim Haritosham. Like whatever that division is, Gun Karma Vibhaksha, by the quality and activities, but the purpose of Varnashram Dharma is to simply satisfy the Lord. If you're not doing that, then you're not in Varnashram. So Murari Gupta was an ideal grihastha. He was doing that. Earning by his profession and spending time in the worship of Lord Vishnu. Okay, it says here, last line says, this is the ideal of a householder life. A lot of lessons for us. Okay. 51. चिकित्सा करेन जारे होइया सदाए देह रोगे भव रोग दुहितार छाए. As Murari Gupta treated his patients, by his mercy, both their bodily and spiritual diseases subside. Very interesting. So let's read the purport. We discuss it.
Murari Gupta could treat both bodily and spiritual diseases because he was physician by profession and great devotee of the Lord in terms of spiritual advancement. This is an example of service to humanity. Everyone should know that there are two kinds of disease in human society. One disease, which is called Adi Adhyatmic, the material disease pertain to the body, but the main disease is spiritual. The living entity is eternal, but somehow or other, when in contact with the material energy, it is subjected to the repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. The physicians of the modern day should learn about Murari Gupta. Although modern philanthropic physicians open gigantic hospitals, there are no hospitals to cure the material disease of the spirit soul. The Krishna conscious movement has taken up the mission of curing this disease, but people are not very appreciative because they do not know what this disease is. A diseased person needs both proper medicine and proper diet, and therefore the Krishna conscious movement supplies materialistic and people with the medicine of the chanting of holy name or the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the diet of prasadam. There are many hospitals and medical clinics to cure bodily disease, but there are no such hospitals to cure the material disease of the spirit soul. The centers of Krishna consciousness movements are only established hospitals that can cure men of birth, death, old age, and disease.
Yeah. So very good point being made that we have two types of diseases, material diseases and spiritual diseases. The disease of the body and the disease of the soul. And we need cure from both. And Prabhupada is pointing out that the only hospital that does that is Krishna conscious temples. And saying that when a person is diseased, you need proper medicine and proper diet. So proper medicine is chanting and proper diet is prasadam. Chant and eat only prasadam. If we chant inoffensively and eat only prasadam, our way back to Godhead is
We
guaranteed.
cannot hear you, Prabhuji.
Huh? What's that? Can you hear me? Could you hear me at all?
You're breaking, Prabhuji.
Sorry?
Your voice was breaking, Prabhu.
Now it's okay, Prabhu.
Okay,
Now
so
it is better. It's
I
better
think
now.
somebody turned the microwave oven on in my house, so that's what happened. So anyway, so basically what I was saying was that
Diet is the prasadam.
if anybody chants sincerely and without offenses and eats only prasadam, their journey to back to God is guaranteed. That's what Prabhupada said. It's a very simple way to get the visa, entry visa to Golok Bhakt. If you chant sincerely without offenses and eat only prasadam, you're done. Okay, text 52. श्रीमान सेन प्रभुर सेवक प्रधान चैतन्य चरण बिनु नाहि जाने आन. Shriman Sen, the 22nd branch of Chaitanya tree, was a very faithful servant of Lord Chaitanya. He knew nothing else but the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shriman Sen was one of the inhabitants of Navadvip and was a constant companion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 53. Shri Gadadhar Das Shakha Sarvopari Kaji Ganer Mukhe Jehu Bulail Hari. Shri Gadadhar Das, the 23rd branch, was understood to be the topmost for he induced all the Muslim Qazis to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. So let's read the purport to understand what's happening. Oh my God, it's a long purport. Okay. Any volunteers?
I can read.
I can.
Go ahead, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. About 8 or 10 miles from Calcutta, on the banks of Ganges, is a village known as Yadha Grama. Srila Gadadhara Dasa was known as inhabitant of this village. Yadha Vasa was Gadadhara Dasa. The Bhakti Ratnakara, 7th wave, informs us that after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gadadhara Dasa went from Navadvipa to Katwa. Thereafter, he became to Indiyatha and resided there. He is stated to be the luster of the body of Srimati Radharani, just as Srila Gadadhara Pandit Goswami is an incarnation of Srimati Radharani herself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sometimes explained to be Radha Bhava, Deity Suvalita, are characterized by the emotions and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhara Dasa is this beauty or luster. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 154, he is described to be an expansion of the potency of Srimati Radharani. He counts among the associates of both Srila Srila Gaurahari and Nityananda Prabhu. As a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was one of the associates of Lord Krishna in conjugal love, and as a devotee of Lord Nityananda, he is considered to have been one of the friends of Krishna in pure devotional service. Even though he was an associate of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he was not among the cowherd boys, but was situated in the transcendental middle of conjugal love. He established a temple of Sri Gaurasundara in Katwa.
Gaurasundara. Go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
In 1434, Shakabdha, AD 1512, when Lord Nityananda Prabhu was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to preach the Sankirtana movement in Bengal, Sri Gadadhara Das was one of Lord Nityananda's chief assistants. He preached the Sankirtana movement by requesting everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This simple preaching method of Srila Gadadhara Dasa can be followed by anyone and everyone in any position of society. One must simply be a sincere and serious servant of Nityananda Prabhu and preach this cult door to door.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So, I just want to make sure that this is a different person, not Gadadhar Pandit. It's Gadadhar Das. Very similar, but not the same. Okay? Now the famous pastime is coming up. So go ahead, Prabhu, read the next paragraph.
Can I continue, Prabhu?
Sure, go on. Unless somebody else. Okay, go ahead.
When Srila Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu was preaching the cult of Hari Kirtana, there was a magistrate who was very much against his Sankirtana movement. Following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Gadadhara Dasa one night went to the house of Kaji and requested him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Kaji replied, "All right, I shall chant Hare Krishna tomorrow." On hearing this, Srila Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu began to dance and he said, "Why tomorrow? We have already chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so simply continue." In the Gauragane Desha Deepika, verse 154 and 155, it is said, Radha Vibhuti Rupaya Chandrakanta Pura Vraje Cha Sri Gauranga Nikate Dasa Vamsyo Gadadhara Purnananda Vraje Yasid Balaveda Priyagrani Safi Kriya Vasat Eva Ravishat Tam Gadadharam. Srila Gadadhara Dasa is considered to be a native form of Chandrakanti, who is the effulgence of Srimati Radharani, and Purna Nandana, who is the foremost of Lord Balrama's very dear girlfriends. Thus, Srila Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu was one of the associates of both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing to explain. So, yeah, continue.
Once, while Sri Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu was returning to Bengal from Jagannath Puri with Nityananda Prabhu, he forgot himself and began taking very loudly as if he were a girl of Rajabhumi selling yogurt, and Srila Nityananda Prabhu noted this. Another time, while absorbed in the ecstasy of the gopis, he carried a jug filled with Ganges water on his head as if he were selling milk. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Raghava Pandit, while going to Vrindavana, Gadadhara Dasa went to see him, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so glad that he put his foot on his head. When Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu was present in Indiyadaha, he established a Bala Gopala Murti for worship there. Sri Madhava Gosha performed a drama known as Dhana Kanda with the help of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Gadadhar Das. This is explained in the Chaitanya Bhagavata, Lila 5.318 for 94.
Yeah.
The tomb of Gadadhara Dasa Prabhu, which is in the village of Indiyadaha, was under the control of some yogi Vaishnavas and later under the direction of Siddha Bhagavan Dasa Babaji of Kalna. By his order, Sri Madhudasa Malik, one of the members of aristocratic Malik family of the Narikela Danga in Calcutta, established a Pathabadi monastery. There in the Bengal year 1256 AD 1849, he also arranged for the worship of a deity named Sri Radha Kanta. His son Balik Chandra Malik established Gauranitya deities there in Bengali year 1312 AD 1905. Thus, on the thrones of the temple are both Gauranityananda deities and Radha Krishna deities. Below the throne is a tablet with an inscription written in Sanskrit. In the temple, there is also a small deity of Lord Shiva as Gopeshwara. This is all described on a stone by side of the entrance door.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Any questions or comments? A lot of reading today, but most of self-explanatory, so I did not give too much elaboration. But if there are any questions or comments, we will discuss. We have a couple of minutes left. Okay, I guess not. So that only means one thing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Sakhi Rupa.
No, I just wanted to mention the explanation that it gave about Gadadhar Das and Gadadhar Pandit. I love that because sometimes people get confused, right?
Yeah.
That they are the same. And in the explanation, we see that when we say that Lord Krishna is non-different than his potency, so it says that one is Radharani and the other one is potency. So they're different personalities, but they're very similar, as you said.
Yes, absolutely.
So I love that part. And also, as you said, a lot of reading and a lot of wow moments, right? When it was explaining about the different services that the associates were doing.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
I mean, holding
Amazing.
the torch for the Lord when he's dancing. It's so amazing. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Amazing service, amazing dedication, amazing commitment, amazing love. So everything is so amazing about these people.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out. Anybody else? Anything? Okay. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Shalini Mataji was so quiet today.
Yeah. I have to get up for Mangala.
Oh, okay.